accidental breach of its moratorium on deforestation. How many lies can you fit in 1/2 of one sentence? Accidental breach of its moratorium on deforestation. Okay, here's an Indonesian environmental group calling on the government to investigate 117 companies for alleged involvement in forest fires. Yeah, keep on calling. And then for anyone failing to draw the dots, I don't even know how many dots are drawn in this little headline and sentence. Indonesia to spend $10 million on cloud seeding scheme to reduce the haze plaguing Sumatra, Singapore, and Malaysia. There you go. That's the way we're going to attack it. $10 million on cloud seeding. Speaking of $10 million, let's go back over there. I mentioned this one in my rant a couple of days ago about Obama in Africa. Obama in Africa pledging Obama to take on elephant and rhino poaching in Africa. For the 10 or 15 of you who missed my rant from a couple of days ago, and you missed this news, here we are again. Barack Obama launched a new initiative against wildlife trafficking on Monday, using his executive authority to take action against an illegal trade that is fueling rebel wars and now threatens the survival of elephants and rhinos. Announcing this in Tanzania. I mentioned this a couple of days ago. Now, of course, guys, remember this $10 million is one-tenth of the money that Barack Obama, U.S. taxpayers' money that Barack Obama spent to visit Africa for 3 days. 10% of that budget going into his initiative to battle the illegal wildlife trade. Guys, as I mentioned then, and since Red isn't mentioning it here, I will do it for him. The ramping up of trade between the U.S. and Africa, which is nothing more, nothing less than an all-out looting of Africa's resources. The ramp up of that trade, what it will do to ramp up the illegal wildlife trade, will completely dwarf this little $10 million of our taxpayers' money spent to fight it. If you want to fight anything in Africa, as I suggested then, we spend that $10 million on condoms and birth control pills and IUDs for Africans. We'll do a hell of a lot more. Anyway, let's see. Oh, yes. So this was the second time in a week that Obama has used an executive order, meaning the little dictator Obama, skipping around Congress, has used an executive order to advance environmental policy after announcing a sweeping new climate change plan, which is going to sweep us closer to Armageddon. I just mentioned in a rant a few minutes ago, the gas and oil industry cheering on Obama's climate change plan. Anyway, enough about Barack Obama. Let's see, going back over there to Sarawak. I don't even know where the hell Sarawak is. finding this influential British journalist banned from Sarawak. So this woman calling out the environmental policies over there. They just put her on a plane and sent her back wherever she came from, I guess to England, which is better than we do in this country. When you call out these bastards in this country, like if you're Michael Hastings, they kill your ass. They just kill you. Here in the U.S., over there in Indonesia, they just put you on a plane and send you back home. Okay, from there, let's see, we're going over to Australia. Again, guys, I'm remaining purposefully ignorant about this whole horseshit RED program. I've been talking about how Panama has rejected this bullshit carbon trading scheme to save the planet. Now we find Australia terminates landmark RED project in Borneo. Australia is ending its major forest restoration project in Indonesian Borneo. Manga Bay and RED, they're big champions of RED. They're going along with Al Gore's horse shit. Now, guys, I'm not going to get into it, into RED. I don't know whether Al Gore's plan to save the planet is going to work or not. I just noticed more and more countries who did buy into it backing out of it. Anyway, okay, now let's go from Australia to Chile, where we find this newest frog. What's it called? Darwin's frog. I guess it's called, Darwin's frog. You can kiss goodbye. One more frog in Chile. Okay, well, let's go back to Australia. They jump around. They just put these on in order as these studies come out. So it's kind of jumping around the globe. Going back to Australia, guys, I'm just going to read this out. In age of climate change, Australia's vast coal fields could become worthless. Australia's huge coal industry is a speculative bubble ripe for financial implosion if the world's governments fulfill their agreement to act on climate change. The warning, that's a big if. The warning that much of the nation's coal reserves will become worthless as the world hits carbon emission limits comes after banking giant Citi also warned Australian investors that fossil fuel companies could do little to avoid the future loss of value. I guess that these banksters at Citibank and whoever came up with this hilarious study are not readers of Guy McPherson and others. I guess Citibank hasn't been looking at, what is it, these 455 coal-fired power plants getting ready to come online in China this year, as China and Indonesia and all these people that Australia sells its coal to are ramping up coal burning. Yeah, right. Australia's vast coal fields could become worthless. Dream. Anyway, getting back to reality. Let's go over and look at the latest meeting of who are these guys? The International Union of Critically Endangered National... Anyway, I don't know what these guys... The IUCN. I don't know what the hell it stands for. Okay. The headline, over 700 species added to the threatened categories on the IUCN Red List. Okay, here we go. In the last week, in another sign, you think so? In another sign of the global biodiversity crisis. The IUCN Red List has added 715 species to its threatened categories of vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered in this year's update. Let's see, as of this year, the Red List has evaluated 70,923 of the world's species, including almost all of this planet's mammals, birds, and amphibians, and has concluded that at least 20,934 of this planet's mammals, birds, and amphibians are now officially deemed threatened or higher due to overhunting, deforestation, disease, and I don't even know if they look at climate change or not. Climate change is nowhere mentioned in this story. Anyway, let's go over from that and from the IUCN to the Seafood Watch program. Over there in San Francisco, seafood restaurants go sustainable. Okay, this is the Seafood Watch program who's come up. I've mentioned this before. This guide to sustainably caught seafood, listing seafood choices in 3 categories: green, yellow, or red, meaning avoid. The guide informs consumers of the best option. Guys, the only option, if you're concerned about the unsustainable overfishing in this planet, is the red option. This is the one that this Doomsday Prophet took on January 1st. It was my New Year's resolution for 2013 to stop eating seafood. There is no such thing as sustainably harvesting fish. Every goddamn fish in the ocean is in the red zone of the ham-bone sustainable fishing. Anyway, okay, we go from there to the sustainability of overfishing in the world's oceans. We're looking now at the sustainability. How many rants? Every Friday I mention this absolutely horseshit notion of the sustainability of palm oil.